Hello guys, thank you so much for coming back to watch another video on my channel. Now before I start the video, I just want to wish everyone a happy new year, and I hope this year turns out to be the best year for you guys. Now by the time you might watch this video, it might be a day later, but cut some slack because I work as well. Now going back to the title of the video, that there are so many characters which we love and care from the Resident Evil franchise, and we wish to see them again in Resident Evil 9. However, which of those characters has the potential to appear again in Resident Evil 9? Let's find out together in this video. Now, if you're brand new to my channel and you do end up liking this video I've made for you, then give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It would allow me to make more of these videos for you guys. Now I love how Capcom got a really good structure and a really good strategy with the characters they've introduced in the previous Resident Evil titles to how to keep them fresh moving forward, while also introducing brand new characters in the brand new Resident Evil games. So they applied the strategy that they can do a remake, a faithful remake for the original games, which we all loved and cared with those characters, and at the same time introduce us to brand new characters from the new Resident Evil titles. So for example, if we look at the recent Resident Evil titles, we got brand new protagonists and antagonists in the more recent Resident Evil titles with Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8. And on the other side of the spectrum, we've seen our old characters from the original Resident Evil titles to make a return with a brand new paint with the recent remake. And I would say Resident Evil 2 remake and 4 remake has done a fantastic job by being faithful to the original source material. So by keeping this strategy, Capcom is keeping both sides quite happy. They're keeping one side who wants to see brand new characters with the main number titles, and the people who loves to see the old characters return again, they're doing remakes for them. So Capcom is keeping those characters to make either a guest appearance or play an important role in the mainline story to see how the story is progressing further. So here's a list of the characters which I personally think have the potential, and we might see them in the next Resident Evil 9 title. Now we know Chris Redfield plays an insignificant role in Resident Evil 7 at the end of Resident Evil 7, and more so in Resident Evil 8. And Chris knew what was going on in the background, and that was the reason as to why he made a massive appearance, a very grim entrance at the start of the game, and that's why he played an important role throughout the story. We also see him that he got his brand new squad. BSAA is pulling their own strings in the background, which we found out towards the later on in the game. And Chris was the reason as to why Rosemary Winter and Mia survived at the end of the game. Now if you look at the scene, Chris mentions about something going on in Europe because BSAA, they're sending BOWs in the battlefield. So it makes sense for Chris Redfield to investigate this because this is a company he trusted and he worked with before. So he wants to find out what's going on, and then obviously he got his own brand new unit which we want to find out because they all look badass. And based on the recent leaks, that Chris Redfield has a major role in Resident Evil 9. So it makes sense for him to appear and find out and investigate on the background what's going on. Now I think if leaks are turn out to be true and Chris Redfield does make an appearance, then Jill Valentine is the sort of partner he needs. They were the two protagonists of the mainline series. These are the ones who started this whole Resident Evil franchise. They worked together as a team in Stars and survived together. They also worked together as a BSAA, so it makes sense for both of them to investigate and find out what's going on for a former company they both used to work for. And as much as we love the recent remakes, we all can agree that Resident Evil 3 remake wasn't exceptional as Resident Evil 2 remake and 4 remake was. And I personally think Jill Valentine could have had a more important role in the overall story, as she is one of the main protagonists of the game. So it makes sense to bring these characters again, like Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield and Resident Evil 9, for them to investigate in the background, and you could have a brand new protagonist who you can control and still survive the survival horrors of Resident Evil 9. Now where is Barry Burton? The last time we've seen him was Resident Evil Revelations 2, and from that point onward we don't know what's going on with the character. He's also from the original Stars members from the event which happened in Resident Evil 1, and he also helped Jill Valentine to survive that mansion. He also helped on the background, that he was a consultant, I think, based on the information for BSAA, and he also helped Jill Valentine at the end of Resident Evil 3. So Barry has a major role in the whole Resident Evil franchise. And the last time we've seen him was Resident Evil Revelations 2, and I personally think Resident Evil Revelations 2 was a decent good game, and we'd never seen what happened to Barry Burton after when he survived the incident with Natalia. We know Barry is now going to be quite old character if you follow in the same timeline of Resident Evil 8. So I think you can do a send-off for Barry Burton if you want to in Resident Evil 9. That would make more sense and pay a tribute to a character which we all love from the original Resident Evil title. There's another character we have not seen much about it. It's actually Shiva from Resident Evil 5. Now I know some people really enjoy Resident Evil 5, some people didn't, but Shiva character, if you're looking at just the story itself, she played an important role in the events of Resident Evil 5. She helped Chris Redfield go toe-to-toe with Albert Wesker, went through all the Maginis, and survived the whole event by herself, obviously with the help of Chris Redfield. So I think she did deserve to appear again, but we've never seen her since Resident Evil 5. And she helped Chris to take down Albert Wesker, which wasn't a small feat, because Albert Wesker is one of the most OP characters from the Resident Evil franchise. And Shiva played an important role in BSAA. She was one of the members, just like Chris Redfield was. So if you look at the overall story where it's been progressing, that BSAA now using BOWs, they're working just like Umbrella was. So I think it will make sense for Shiva to appear again in Resident Evil 9 to find out what's going on. I think this character deserves to appear again because she's never been on the original Resident Evil titles apart from Resident Evil 5. So it'll make sense story-wise. So for example, Capcom has decided to remake Resident Evil 5 Remake. At that point you will see Shiva to appear again as a member of BSAA, but then we'll find out how BSAA turned evil and how Shiva has progressed as a character or developed as a character since the events of Resident Evil 5. So I personally think that Shiva deserves the chance to appear again in Resident Evil 9. And lastly, I personally think that Rebecca Chamber plays a major role in the whole Resident Evil franchise. And just like the other characters I've mentioned, Rebecca Chambers also was part of the original team, and we found out what happened to her in the mansion in the original Resident Evil 1. And then she also appeared in her own game, which was Resident Evil 0. And Rebecca Chamber has played an important role, a medic who turned out to be this massive survivor, and she survived this whole event. And Rebecca Chamber was being referenced or appeared in the whole Resident Evil lore. So I think she plays a very important role is how the story has progressed from the original Resident Evil titles. Now since that time, we don't know what's going on with Rebecca Chamber. We have not seen her in the more recent Resident Evil titles or the most recent remakes, and that's the only character which is just like Barry Burton. We haven't seen what happened from their own games which came out ages ago. So it'll make sense for her to appear again, to be a researcher, find out what's going on with the BSAA on the background, or it could be a brand new virus, because I think she can play one of those characters who can investigate about the viruses because she knows more than anyone in the franchise. So what do you guys think? This was just my personal list of the characters I believe can appear in Resident Evil 9. I know your list might be different, so please do let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below in this video. So that's it for the video, guys. I'll catch you again with another video on my channel. Until then, look after yourself. Have a good one.